Hello everybody. In the continuation of the course for C++ language, this is my next video about tokens in C++. So before moving further, first of all let me make you understand what is a token basically. The token is the smallest element or entity of the program which is meaningful to the compiler, and when we put a number of tokens together according to the syntax rules of that particular language, what we get is a statement of code. This is the example for the addition of two integers. I don't want to show you the logic or the way of writing a program for addition. I just want to show you that everything you see in the screen separated by the white spaces, either a blank space, a tab or a new line, every individual entity is a token, like hash, these parentheses, curly braces, space, comma, num1, int, 12, 56, equal, plus, quotes, and these iostream, dot, h, angle brackets, whatever is present, the whole code is a token. So if I talk about a source program is built up of a number of tokens. We have different kinds of token, and the categories are: in yellow we have keywords, in orange we have identifiers, in red we have literals, and the leftover symbols are operators and punctuators. So I will be discussing each and every token in detail in my further slides. So let's start with keywords first. Keywords are the special words, or we can say the reserved words in the C++ compiler dictionary, which are used for some special meaning and for special purpose. For example, int is used to declare integer variables. Float is used for declaring float variables. So I have provided you a list for the keywords. I have provided you a list on a number of pages. So you just do one thing. Pause the video on each page and make a note of all these keywords with the proper description. Page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, next we have identifiers. Identifiers are the set of characters which are used to denote a particular block of the program, or used to identify a particular part or block of the program. That can be the name of a variable, name of a function, name of a class, an object or a label. So the programmer writing the program has the whole control to give a name to the identifier, but in case of keywords it is not like that. We must use the keyword as it is specified in the C++ dictionary. Let's discuss about identifiers in detail. Names given to the functions. I have written the prototype of two functions over here. Prototype is the declaration of the user defined functions I will be using in the program. So void calculate, and it has two parameters, two integers. So it will calculate the value of two integers. So over here calculate is the identifier, means it is the name of the function. Factorial, it is also an identifier, the name of the function. Next, names given to the variables and constant. The int, cell and marks, these are two ordinary variables, so the name of the variables also identifiers. Constant, const int max. Over here max is not an ordinary variable, it is a constant variable. Why? Because the value of max cannot be altered or changed throughout the life cycle of the program. So names given to the arrays, pointers, references and classes. So whatever name we provide to all four of these is also an identifier. Float, marks, PTR, reference, ref and student. Next we have the names given to the objects. Whenever we declare objects of the of any particular class to access the data members and member functions of that particular class, we declare some objects, and the name what we give to the object is also an identifier. Names given to the labels. While using the goto statement we are required to set a label, and the name what we give to the label is also an identifier. Okay, so functions. The user-defined functions or the predefined functions, variables, constants, and arrays, pointers, references, classes, objects, and labels. The name which is given to all these blocks and parts are called identifiers. Okay, next. While naming the identifiers in the C++ language, we must follow some rules according to the compiler, and the rules are: C++ is a case sensitive language, so that the uppercase letters and lowercase letters are treated differently, and I have provided you an example for that. Int roll number, roll number, roll number, and roll number. You must see that I have declared 4 integers, but the name is same, but you also just make sure that the case of each variable is different. Each variable name is different. In first we have all letters in lowercase, in second we have R and N in uppercase, in third we have only R in uppercase, and in fourth we have all letters in uppercase. So the case is different, and C++ is a case sensitive language, so all 4 of these will be treated differently. I can initialize all 4 of these with different value. Okay, next, the name of the identifier cannot begin with a digit from 0 to 9. So over here I have declared an integer and it is invalid because it is starting with a digit, and if I want to make it correct, I would be writing like this: ABC1, A1 BC can be in the middle, can be in the last, and the number can also the variable name can also start with the underscore also. In the next we have only alphabetic characters A to Z, either in lowercase and uppercase, digits 0 to 9 but cannot be the first letter. Underscore are permitted. Underscore can be anywhere. Next, other special characters are not allowed for naming a variable or identifier. Like I have provided you a small list. You right now you just check the number keys on the keyboard. There are some special characters printed over the number keys, like exclamation, at the rate, hash, dollar, percent, caret, and parenthesis, plus, minus. These are the special characters, so we cannot use them while naming the identifiers in C++ language. Keywords cannot be used as identifier, as I discussed in the previous slide that keywords are the reserved words, so they cannot be used as the name of a identifier, and I have provided you a small list only: do, while, for, int, etc. So these are the reserved words, so we cannot use them while naming the identifier, and we cannot give a variable name like do, like while, for, and the case should also be the same. Well, when I'm talking about reserved keyword, if I want to give a name like do and D is capital, so it can work like this. So next I have a list of identifiers, and you are to just pick out which of these are correct and which of these are incorrect. So you do it yourself. Just pause the video over here and give it a try. Okay, I have divided the slide in 2 partitions. One is for correct and second is for incorrect. Just find the correct identifiers out of the following which can be used for naming variable, constant, or functions in a C++ program. So first we have while. While is a keyword, but over here W is in capital, so it is correct. It can be the variable name or a constant name or a function name or any identifier name we want. For is a for loop, and all the letters of for are in lowercase, so it is incorrect to give a name like this. Float is a data type and keyword also, so over here F is capital, so it is correct. We can give a name like this. New is a operator, or we can say the keyword, which is used to allocate the memory dynamically to a variable, and it is useful while dealing with linked lists, so it is also incorrect to give a name like this. Second name, over here the identifier name is starting with the digit, and I have discussed in the rules a variable name or any identifier name cannot start with the digit, so it is also incorrect. Amount to Amount to, it is not a keyword and we do not have any special symbol and it is not starting with the digit, so it is thoroughly correct. A%, B% is a special character, so it is invalid and it is incorrect. IO stream is the header file. One more thing I just want to tell you that we have some predefined identifiers also, but those are not keywords, so we can use them as the name of the identifiers if we want. If I want to declare an integer with the name IOstream, so it is okay, I can give, so it is also correct. Next, I have provided you only a small list of some predefined identifier, but we have many more. Main, conio, IOstream, getCh, cout, cin, string length, string cat, etc. Next we have literals. Literals are also called the constant values. A literal is a fixed value which is initialized in a variable. Different kinds of data can be processed or manipulated in a C++ program. So we have different types of literals, and those are integer numerals. Here int a is an integer variable, so 123 is an integer numeral. Floating point numerals, float a is a floating point variable, so 123.43 is a floating point numeral. Characters, char ch is a character type variable, so k is a character over here. Char str is a string variable, means it will be having 10 characters. So hello is a string. Boolean values in C++, two boolean values are represented. One is true and second one is false. Okay, let's talk in detail for each of these. First is integer literal. We have three types of integers: decimal, octal and hexadecimal. You must be thinking, what is the difference between decimal, octal and hexadecimal? So let's talk in detail. Let's discuss the number system. In decimal, we have 0 to 9 digits which are represented in decimal. So the total digits we have 10, so the base is 10. Octal, we have the digits from 0 to 7 which are represented in octal. So the base for the octal number system is 8. In hexadecimal, we have 0 to 9 numerics, and A, B, C till F. A represents 10, B represents 11, so on till F. So the total digits we have in hexadecimal are 16. So the base of the hexadecimal number is 16. One more thing you must know, in C++, we have some prefix to tell the compiler which kind of literal we are using. For decimal, we use nothing. For octal, we use 0, and for hexadecimal, we use 0, x. X can be in lowercase and uppercase also. Suppose I have a integer and I want to initialize it with some value. If I initialize 16, so the value will be decimal because it is not having any prefix. If the number is 016, so the number will be octal because it is starting with the prefix 0. If I have initialized 0x16, so the value will be hexadecimal because it has the prefix 0x. Next is integer manipulators. These are the data type manipulators, and we have U in lower and uppercase for unsigned int, L for long, and double L for long int. Okay, next we have some example of the integer literals. These are the example for some legal and illegal ones are also displayed in this slide. Just check out the illegal ones. 078. Why it is illegal? Because in octal the number is starting with 0, so the number is from the octal number system. But in octal number system, we have only the digits from 0 to 7. 8 is not in the number system, so the number is illegal. 032 UU, the suffix is written 2 times, so the number is illegal because the U cannot be repeated. Okay, all the left ones are legal, so just check out. Next, we have floating point literals. Floating point literals has an integer part, a decimal and a fractional part also. We can represent a floating point literal either in decimal or exponential form. The exponent is introduced by a lower or uppercase e. Check out some floating point literals, the examples. In the upper section we have the decimal form, and in the lower section we have the exponential form. You can see in the lower section e is the exponent. In first we have 3.14159. 3 is the integral part and 14159 is the fractional part. You can see the decimal point also. Okay, let's move to the next section. The exponential form. 6.02 is the mantissa part and E23 is the exponent. So 23 is the exponent. 1.6 E minus 19. The minus 19 is the negative exponent. In the second last we have 510 E, but the number is incomplete because the exponent is missing over here, so it is an illegal. In the last we have dot E55. The exponent is present but the mantissa part is absent, so it is also illegal. Next we have character and string literals. Character literal is a single character enclosed in single quotes. The character can be anything from alphabets, numbers, or special characters or escape sequence we have. Over here you can see the example. In single quotes we have Z and P. So these are characters, and if we have more than one character enclosed in double quotes, then it will be a string. Okay, there are certain characters in C++ preceded by a backslash, and they have some special meaning to the compiler. They are the escape codes and we use them in cout statements, and these codes are ignored by the compiler. Only the effect we see on the output screen. So these are the escape codes we have. /n is used for new line, R is used for carriage return, T is for giving a tab in the output screen, /v for vertical tab, /b for backspace, form field, alert, single quote, double quote, question mark and backslash. Okay. Next we have boolean literals. There are two boolean literals and they are part of standard C++ keywords also. True and false. For if we want a boolean value in a variable to be stored, then we will initialize it with true, and if we want the variable to hold false, so we will initialize it false. Okay, next we have operators. Operators are the special symbols which are used to carry out some operations or arithmetic, relational, logical, these kinds of operation in the program. So we use operators. We have different types of operator in C++: arithmetic operators, relational, logical, bitwise, assignment, increment, decrement, and conditional operator. It is a very important topic, so I will be having a detailed video on this topic, so I am just skipping it in this video. Next is punctuators. Punctuators are also called the separators, which are used to separate the code from one line to another, or from one block to another, from one token to another. So characters used as punctuators are block brackets, parentheses, curly braces, comma, semicolon, colon, asterisk, equal, hash. So just go in detail. These brackets, these block brackets are used to give a subscript while declaring a variable being an array. Here int book price is an integer array of 10 elements. So if I want to give the size of the array, then I will use these block brackets to give the subscript. Curly braces, these braces are used to give the compound statements are surrounded by these curly braces. If num is greater than 0, so we have two statements in the if condition. So If we have compound statements, means if we have enough loop or any branching statements, if we have the statements more than one, so we have the compound statement, so we will be using this curly braces. Okay, next we have parentheses. Parentheses are used to give the parameter list for a function. Comma is used to separate the declaration of the variables. Asterisk is used to tell the compiler that the variable we are declaring over here is a pointer variable. Semicolon is used to separate a line from one another. Colon is used to give the start point of a go to statement. Go to start from this statement the compiler will jump to the next start label where it is implemented. Equal to sign is used to assign a value to a variable. Pound sign, the hash is used to include a file. This is also used to include a file to define some constant values and to define the macros. So this is the preprocessor directive which is used to include a file in the C++ program. So it was all about the tokens we have in C++. I hope you have liked my video. If you are having any queries, so please do write in comment. I will be waiting for the comments. Thank you.